phenomenal. I wanted to talk to you real quick about full speed ahead. It's time for you to kind of prepare yourself to begin to move full speed ahead, because there's some decisions, there's some things that have been looming over you, some things that have been kind of lurking over you. Hi, Baltimore. You've been really at a point right now that you've really just kind of been at a standstill. But you need to begin to move full speed ahead. One of the first things you need to do in moving full speed ahead is you need to move full speed ahead in terms of some decisions you need to make. You really are at a major standstill, and sometimes one of the first things that you need to move full speed ahead is be careful when moving full speed ahead is making decisions about who's going to be in your inner circle. Jesus had 12 disciples. There were 12 that he shared some things. There were 9 that there were 3 that he shared some things with that he didn't share with the other 9. And then there was 1 that he shared some things with that he didn't share with the other 11. And so you have to begin to move full speed ahead. What do you mean? Begin to start preparing your inner circle, the people that are your confidants, the people that are going to be your advisors, the people that are going to basically help you move from where you are to position you where you should be. You've got to make up in your mind that you've got to have the right inner circle. Everybody is not designed to be in your circle. There are some people right now that you have in your circle that need to be out of your circle. And one of the reasons why you've not been able to move full speed ahead is because of this reason you have the wrong people that you're connected to. I found out a long time ago that if you're going to be successful, you got to hang around successful people that are doing as good as you or better than you. But the problem is most of us are intimidated because people may be smarter than us, or people may have a little bit more education than us. But that can't be the thing. You've got to be connected with people who are going to help move you from where you are to where you need to be. And that's the sad commentary. The sad commentary is Edgar Allan Poe said the wealthiest place in the world is the graveyard. But I have something to say to that. The wealthiest place in the world is probably perhaps the graveyard. But the sad commentary is to be one of those people in the graveyard and die pregnant, die with visions, die with dreams, die with something that could change society or change the world, be it technological, be it spiritual, be it something that you died with, that you could have helped a whole lot of people, but because you died with it, and that's the problem. A lot of us can't move forward because we're not ready to give birth. Anytime there's a birth process, any woman that is watching me out there, she understands with birth comes pain. There's always pain. There's pain in relationships. We go through pain financially. Everyone, I don't care who you are, there will be ebbs and flows in your life. And some of you going up, some of you going down, some of you going up, some of you going down. But I want to tell you one thing today. I want to tell you to move forward. So the first thing you've got to do is move forward. Watch the people who are in your inner circle. Everybody is not designed to be in your life forever. There's some people in your life for a season. There's some people in your life for a lifetime. You can't mix seasonal people with lifetime people. And see, if you try to mix a seasonal person with a lifetime person, then you'll be discombobulated, confused, and your life will be chaotic, and you experience what they call cacophony. And you don't want to ever be a person that is just stuck in a myriad of confusion. So if you're going to move forward, the first thing you got to do is make sure you watch who's in your inner circle. The second thing you've got to do is you've got to challenge yourself. You've got to tell yourself, I can't stay where I am. You can't get complacent. Remove complacency from the equation. You've got a nice house. You got a decent car. You looked at the bank account. You have $50,000 in there. Well, that's really not enough. You need to have more than $50,000. You need to investigate. When I say I can't stay here, in other words, you need to look down the line, because a lot of us, you have more years behind you than you have in front of you. I'm going to say that again. You got more years behind you than you have in front of you. So you got to make up your mind. You got to say to yourself, I want to prepare. Where am I going to be the next 10 years? Many of you may have children that you have raised or in the process of raising. And after you have raised your children, there comes a period of time where you got to say, you know what? I got to look out for me. And that's what many people don't do. They don't look out for themselves. You got to look down the line. Let me say it this way. I'll say it this way. Young Kervin has to prepare for middle-aged Kervin. Middle-aged Kervin has to prepare for old Kervin. I'm going to say it again. Young Kervin has to prepare for middle-aged Kervin. Middle-aged Kervin has to prepare for older, Kervin. And if you've not prepared for yourself, if you're at the age of 50, and I dare say this, because most people will not really make real money. You're not going to really make any real money if you are a parent until you're about 50 years old. Some people have invested wisely. Some people luck out. What do you mean by that? I'm saying that you invest, that you buy houses, you buy cars, you invest in your children's education. If you're a decent man, I'm going to say that again. If you're a decent man, I'm not going to say women. If you're a decent man, even if you're divorced or separated from your wife, you make sure that you take care of your children. I always say that you can't really how can you really praise God or stand before God's people, or how can you really look in your children's face if you've not been responsible, if you've not taken care of them, if you've not done what you're supposed to do? A real man is designed to be a giver. He's a supporter. What will he do? He will get up in the middle of the night. He'll work 2 or 3 jobs to make sure that his children have a quality education. So now watch this. So by the time you're 48, by the time you're 49, you've invested in your children's future. Now it's about you. So now you've got to prepare yourself, because you've sacrificed and you've given so much for your children. Now you got to prepare. You got to say to yourself, I'm 50 years old, because the truth of the matter is, by the time a person's 50 years old, between 50 and 60, you should be at the top of your game. I'm going to say it again. Between 50 and 60, you should be at the top of your game. And what do you mean by that? There was a person, I want you to stay with me. There was a friend of mine who had done the same thing. He had children who had, but his children was a different crisis. Children he had invested in his children, but it wasn't so much their education. I suppose they had substance abuse issues, or they had drug problems, and he sent them to many different rehabs. And when he looked up, he had spent millions of dollars on lawyers fees, rehabs, etc. He turned 50 years old, and he said to himself, he was walking down the streets of Chicago, and he said, God, I'm broke and I'm 50. The Lord said to him, what do you do? He said, what do you do best? He says, I teach. He says, I teach. I'm a good teacher. I'm a good consultant. I know how to help people. God said, well, then that's what you do. Put a package together. And from 50 to 60 years old, this man made $20 million. Let me say it again. 50 to 60 years old, he made $20 million. What are you saying? Every idea may be a good idea, but there is something about a God idea that shifts the orders and it changes the rules in your favor. So the second thing is this. One, if you're going to move forward. Number one, make sure you watch your inner circle. Make sure that you start, because some people that are in your life are what we call opportunistic people. They're in your life for what they can get from you. They're in your life from what they can extrapolate or take from you, but they're not trying to give anything to the equation. You'll always know that you're around the right people, because when you get around them, your life starts changing. You start feeling uplifted. Now, if you're always the one that's the savior, if you're always the one that's pulling people, that's got to reach down and pull people up, if you're that individual, then sometimes you get exhausted. You really get physically inebriated, drunk. You get just tired of being the one that's always reaching down. You need some people to pull you up, to help you get to. So you got to watch who's in your inner circle. The second thing is you got to deal with your third. And the third move if you're going to move forward, the third thing is this. You've got to get past your past. Let me say that again. You got to move past your past. Stop allowing your past to dictate your future. Okay, you had a child out of wedlock. So what? You're not the first person to have a child out of wedlock. You made a mistake. So what? You've been married several times. So what? Are you going to allow that to forecast the destiny that God has for you? You have so much success that's on your side. You've got to get past your past. And if you don't get past your past, you're going to be stuck in your present. Everybody's going to be moving on to their future, and you're going to be in the place called yesterday, which means you're going to be a has-been. And you got too much in you. You have too many things that God has invested in you. You have too much reading, too much education. You've got too much vision in you. You are pregnant with purpose. You got to make up your mind that I can't stay where I am. This is my last season of my life that I'm going to stay where I am. And regardless of what's going on around me, God has given me something that's going to take me out of where I am. And if you're struggling financially, could it be that maybe you're not moving forward with the destiny that's inside of you? You got to move forward. What do you mean move forward? A lot of people are stuck. A lot of people are stuck. I tell people all the time, and let me share this with you. I tell people all the time, you got to find somewhere in your house that's comfortable for you to work, not your bedroom. I'm going to say it again, not your bedroom. Your bedroom is not designed for you to work in. Your bedroom is designed for two things. If you're married, it's designed for intimacy, and if you're not married, it's designed for rest. Well, if you're married, it's rest and intimacy. Your bedroom is not designed for you to discuss bills. Your bedroom is not designed for you to talk about things that happen during the day. Get up and go in another part of the house and discuss that. But you need another place other than the bedroom that you can do that. Bedrooms oftentimes are depressing. Anytime you sit in your bedroom all the time, it can be a very depressing place. You may not see it, but it can be a depressing place. There's a show that comes on television called Hoarders. And one of the things about being a hoarder is when a person that hoards, a lot of times they could actually be a person that's very neat, very clean, but they slip into a depression. When you slip into a depression, you literally slide into a depression and you don't even know you're in a depression until you look around you and you see things are out of place. You know the way that you like certain things. Your clothes are here. Things are just all over the place. And the way you come out of a depression is you need somebody to pull you out. And sometimes it's someone to shock your system. If you watch the show, there's a lady that's a specialist. She's a clinical psychologist. She comes in and begins to talk to them. And when they begin to start removing different things, the person says, oh, no, I need it. No, they don't need it. Because if you haven't used anything in the past 6 months or the past year, trust me, you're not going to use it again. You know, you got to pretty much look around you. Me, personally, I'm a person that likes to buy books. I like information. That's the thing. I like information, constantly reading, constantly staying abreast. But if you are in a depression, and I say that, I'm not saying it because some people love their bedrooms, you know, that's fine. But I'm going to tell you right now, sometimes you got to get up and you got to get out, because before you know it, you'll think it's what oh God, I just got a revelation. It's what's called normalcy. It becomes normal to you to be in a place like that. You got to be in a place that's productive. You see, when I do the periscopes, I'm all over the place. It's wintertime in a couple of months. You'll see me inside. You'll see me sitting by a fireplace. But you got to sometimes change the environment. Go to a coffee house. Go do something. Go somewhere that's just unfamiliar. Go to a library. It's wonderful, but you know, to do your best work, you've got to change your environment. If you're going to move forward, that's my fourth point. Change the environment. Do something you've never done before. Get up on the weekend. Change your environment. Move forward. What do you mean? Sometimes you need to just go stay in a hotel for the weekend. Go stay at the Marriott on Friday and come out on Sunday morning. Order room service. Order room service. Feel what it's like to just order room service, to sit in the room and just think. If you don't want to do that, go by the pool. You know, just walk around, change your environment, because when you change your environment, you change your mindset. And so because of that, you know, we limit ourselves. We pour everything we have into other people, into our children, into our churches, into people. And the truth of the matter is, a lot of times watch this, a lot of times these people don't respect your time. They just take, and they're not giving. And that's the way the world is. They get everything they can get out of you, maximize it, and just say, well, I got what I need. But you've got to start looking out for you. So you must move forward now. Here's my next one. Educationally, stop procrastinating. You got some unfinished business. You want to go back and finish the bachelor's degree. Are you hearing me? Go finish it. There's no money. No, that's not true. There's money waiting. Money waiting for you. Apply. Put your name on the application. There's money waiting for you. Finish the bachelor's degree. You want to get your